What's up everyone, this is John. I'm going to go over the functions and mechanics of the wiper system for the VW van so you can get yourself geared up and functioning for the winter. We'll start off with the controls of the system, which are the lever to the right of the steering wheel. There are 3 lateral positions controlling the front wiper assembly. Pushing the lever down turns the wipers to the intermittent position, which will cycle the wipers with a delay between strokes. Up one position from neutral is a low speed, and another up for high speed. Pulling the lever back activates the windshield washer system, and on vans with the option, pushing the lever forward will activate the rear window washer system. I'm going to show you how to remove the steering wheel so we can get a good look at how this switch functions, but you don't need to do this to access the switch. It's simply just for clarity, or if you'd like to thoroughly clean the components. Remove the 2 screws from the plastic column shroud and pull both halves free. Gently pull the horn button from the wheel and remove the large 24mm nut from the splined shaft. Before removing the wheel, mark both the shaft and the wheel so it can be reinstalled straight. Then pull the wheel from the shaft. Unplug the connectors from the base of the switch and loosen the 3 flathead machine screws holding the switch to the column. Remove any other connectors and the switch is free to be removed. Below the wiper lever are 3 metal contact tabs, shown here. These are used to control the washer system. These and the rest of the switch can be cleaned with compressed air and then buffed with steel wool, Scotch-Brite, or a file to remove any oxidation. Once these contacts are clean, I like to coat them with Bosch electrical grease to prevent corrosion and prolong the operating life of the switch. This grease is available at most automotive supply stores. A little bit of this grease goes a long way. Use very thin coats. Once the switch has been cleaned and lubricated, fit it back into place on the column, reattach it with the 3 flathead machine screws, and reconnect all of the wiring harnesses. If you remove the steering wheel, take this opportunity to clean and grease the horn tab on the switch and the horn ring on the wheel. Place the wheel back on the spline shaft, being sure to clock it according to the marks made when the wheel was taken off. Reinstall the nut and torque it to 36 foot-pounds. It can be helpful to turn the wheel to the locked position in order to properly tighten the nut. The wiper's mechanical system is located in the nose of the van, behind the dashboard. It consists of the wiper shafts and linkage, controlled by the motor. The wiper arms bolt onto the front of the spline shafts. The front wiper circuit is protected by fuse number 10 in early vans and have an optional intermittent relay, relay number 5, on the panel. In a later van, the washer system is on fuse number 11 and the front wipers on fuse 17, with relay number 10 controlling the intermittent settings. We do supply a unique programmable relay, which allows control of the pauses between cycles, which is easily found on our website. If the van is equipped with it, fuse number 12 in late vans protects the rear wiper circuit and cruise control. The rear wiper assembly is inside the rear hatch door, behind the door panel underneath the window. The setup is very similar to the front system, consisting of wiper shaft and linkage driven by the motor, and wiper assembly bolted onto the shaft. So now that we've covered a bit about how the system works, let's head for the front of the van for some maintenance. Start by getting the shafts into the neutral, rested position. Do this by pulling the arm into lock position, away from the windshield, and cycling the wipers once. This puts the shaft into position with no resistance from the blade on the dry glass. Place the arms back down onto the glass and begin removing the arms one at a time. The plastic cap is easily pried off the arm, exposing the 10mm nut underneath it. Remove this nut and pull the arm from the shaft. The lower cap is easily popped off as well. Now take a close look at the splines on the wiper shaft. They often become embedded with the soft metal from the wiper arm. This can cause many problems, the most common one being that the arms won't move with the shaft. Though it can seem tedious, a sharp pick will make easy work of cleaning the debris from these splines. With the shaft splines clean and in neutral position, you can start assembling the wiper arm back onto the van. If your wiper arms have been badly worn from the spline shafts, we highly recommend you get new ones. A wiper arm can become stripped due to any number of causes, including a heavy load like snow or debris on the blade, prolonged blade chatter jarring the arm, or simply becoming worn out. Here's a quick breakdown on what happens when they get worn out. We have the shaft at the bottom of the picture and a cross-section of the wiper arm, the red area representing the inner mounting section. The arm is installed on the shaft, with the spline section registering into the tapered cavity. It's tightened down and the splines embed into the arm, allowing it to be controlled by the shaft. Since the aluminum arm is such a soft metal, the splines can wear away the tapered recess. Simply tightening the nut proves somewhat useless, because now the arm must move down the shaft further, but cannot be held in place by the washer as it no longer contacts the raised surface of the arm. To address this problem, we find a 7mm washer will fit over the shaft enough to force the arm down, seating it securely on the splines. We recommend using our hardware kit for this reason, but please carefully inspect your wiper arms and decide if new ones are in order. Loosely assemble the 7mm washer, the 6mm wavy washer, and the 6mm nut, but don't fully tighten the arm down. Snap the new blade into the arm and position it at the bottom of the window. Wherever you position the arm is where it will always return to after a cycle. Once in position, torque the nut just under 8 foot-pounds, never any more. Torquing more than 8 foot-pounds can shear the stud from the shaft. If this happens, the only last-ditch action before removing the entire dash to replace the entire wiper assembly is to cut the remaining stud flush, drill the shaft, and tap it to 6mm threads, and use a bolt to attach the arm. This can be a point-of-no-return process, and is only recommended for skilled professionals. Once the arm is tight, press the cap into place. Sometimes wiper arms can become warped or bent, which will cause the blade to contact the glass at an angle and chatter or squeal. This is easily remedied by tweaking the arm back straight, using a rag to protect the arm and a crescent wrench to twist it so the blade contacts the glass at a 90-degree angle. This process is the same to replace or service the passenger and rear window wipers. Moving on to the washers, replacement is pretty straightforward. Tape off around the nozzle to protect the surface. Grip the nozzle with a pair of pliers or channel locks and pull it out of the van firmly while twisting. Once free, work the nozzle as far out of the van as the tubing will allow it. Slide the rubber collar down and cut off the old sprayer. Do not let the hose retract back into the vehicle. Have another person assist you if necessary. Be sure the rubber portion of the new sprayer is completely seated onto the plastic body. Use a heat gun, lighter, or matches to heat up the tube end. Once the end is pliable, insert the new sprayer nozzle into the tube. Slide the rubber collar up and over the end of the tube, around the sprayer nipple, and press the new sprayer firmly into the front of the vehicle. Use a fine pick to aim the washer nozzle properly onto the glass. Here I use a sewing needle. Sometimes the lines become clogged with debris, not allowing the washers to work properly. This is easily remedied by using compressed air and clearing the lines through the nozzles. The washer reservoirs are located at the front and rear of the vehicle. The front reservoir fill port is on the driver's side floor under the carpet. The cap unscrews and is able to be easily filled. The threaded collar will need to be removed if or when removing the reservoir from the vehicle. The reservoir is then held in by 3 remaining bolts on the bottom of the vehicle. The rear reservoir is located behind the panel in the back of the van, held in by 2 bolts. To access the pump for both of these reservoirs, they will need to be removed from the vehicle. For clarity's sake, I'll put a new pump in a tank setup we already have out of a van. The pumps are the same for each reservoir, and pressure fit directly into the plastic body. Gently pry them from the reservoir. Use the supplied connectors to wire the pump. Brown is ground, and the sheathed green wire with white tracer is power. And remove the supply line, the same as the washer sprayer, and install it on the new pump. So that's it for this one. We hope it helps get your wiper systems all dialed in. All of the parts shown, along with tons of other great products, are readily available at our website, so go ahead and check it out at GoWesty.com.